hanging out in Oswego on a Thursday night. I have not seen this guy in quite some time. Believe it or not, a friend of mine needed a refrigerator, and I went on Facebook. Has anybody got one? Randy Ritskes was the guy who responded. He gave it to me. He is 58 years old. He's been working at Oswego Speedway for somewhere about 7 years now, working up with Roy Silva in the tower doing color commentary. And what a good guy to have it. He has somewhere between 12 and 15 wins at Oswego Speedway. Been out for about 7-8 years, right about the time he started doing that. But in this first part, we're going to go back to before he came to Oswego Speedway. I didn't know this. He used to run dirt. Randy, how we doing today?
Doing awesome.
This was back in the 90s. You told me this was a 320 modified days.
Yeah, it was way back. It was my father and I, we were watching Daytona 500 actually. And I said, I'd like to get into racing. You know, we were chasing races. We go watch Alan Johnson and Dave Hayslip locally. And he says, well, if you go work on somebody's car, Dave Hayslip, he says, if you could work on his car for a year and show that you're dedicated to doing it, he says, I'd love to get into racing. So that's kind of where we all started back in mid-'80s.
And this was up in Canada, right? Because that's where you're originally from.
Yeah.
Brockville, right?
Brockville, Ontario. Yep.
Okay. So racing, let's be honest, it couldn't have been more different then than it is today.
They're basically this. I think they're still the same car.
Yeah.
They're a lot prettier. Mm-hmm. Shocks have come a long way. Suspension, but I would say I don't think the wheelbase has changed. The Bicknell chassis, I ran Bicknell cars. It's just everything that's bolted onto it is so well engineered and well thought out. Where, we used to bolt stuff on and we'd have binds and, it was just go racing. We didn't
go to the
even
hardware store, find bolts, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, that kind of stuff. It was just do what you can.
Brockville, Can-Am, Edelweiss, and what was the other track you told me you used to run at?
Cornwall.
So how did you do? Did you pick up on this right away?
It took about 2 months before my first win. And
really, that's all, huh?
Yeah.
2 months.
Yeah. Well, Cornwall's a quarter-mile track, and now I was running third with a couple of laps, or second with a couple of laps to go, and Carl Murdoch, people might know his name, he was blowing up. And he blew the engine on the last lap, and he was trying to weave back and forth, trying to slow me down. Marcel was pounding on me.
Marcel LaFrance, the hammer.
Yeah. And I went over Carl Murdoch's tire. I went across the start-finish line in the air, landed back on all fours, and won my first race.
What a way to do that.
And that was it for probably 2 more years until I won my next one.
Seriously? You had to go that long before you got another one?
Yeah.
That must have been frustrating.
It was. The first year, believe it or not, we ran a Bert, as in Bert transmissions.
They made cars. Yeah.
We ran a Bert dirt modified. He didn't make very many. Dave Hayslip ran them. That's how I got to know about Bert. And actually, we crashed the cars. You're running 4 nights a week in a contact sport. Cars don't handle very good. And I was never considered smooth, but I was.
Okay.
I'd like to win, but
you manhandled the thing around.
Yeah, but I won a lot of races in my third year. But the second year with the Troyer car, it just never worked.
Didn't work for you.
And no, I just and Maynard and everybody down there, they were cool trying to help out, but it was just with us in Canada, it didn't make as much sense. When I got the next year, we got to meet Pete Bicknell, and
this was when there was Pete's Garage, right?
It was
way
Pete's
back before.
Yep,
all
Pete's
of this,
Garage.
Right?
He was working on customer cars, not race cars, just regular cars, and a gas station. And then Randy Williamson, Matt's father, he was just a young kid like I was. They were building cars one at a time, so we asked if they would build us one, and we went down and we raced. We built a Bicknell car, and that's Erica. She was a little girl.
Yeah, you said she didn't like you for a reason, huh?
I got to stay. They got kicked out of the bedroom. The girls did, and I got to sleep in there that one night. Because I stayed at Pete's because they wanted to build the car with me.
Yeah.
And so I understood. I've already been raced for a couple of years, but they had their own little bells and whistles and ways of doing things. But we're still building the cars with a cardboard template.
I know that's
the body panels and stuff. That was it.
Yeah, pile of tubing and a notcher and weld, and there you go, right?
Yep. Grind this out, hang this up. Yeah.
Did you win with those cars right away with Pete and Randy's cars?
Yeah, the very first year, and it was great because we would race one night, get on the phone with Pete the next morning, and he would go through it. Pete or even Randy, would help us and do some changes with the car. But We won a lot when we got into the Bicknell car. The first year we got the Brockville track championship. Probably 4 or 5 wins there. I think we had 3 or 4 wins at Can-Am that year, and I didn't win. Won one at Cornwall, and we won about 3 or 4 at Edelweiss, and that was just Bicknell. It was 1 year difference, and that was a good relationship, and it was nice to hook up with Pete. And I still great friends with Pete,
Yeah.
Nancy, Randy, Matt. He's growing up to be a excellent young man too. Well, he's getting older, but you know they're very nice and easy to talk to.
So when Super Dirt Week comes here to Oswego, do you get the chance to see Randy and
Oh
and
God,
Matt and
yeah,
everybody?
yeah. It's nice to go around. You know, Billy Decker. You know, haven't seen him in a while. Some guys come down from Brockville and Canada, and it's nice. I have Herbisons.
Oh yeah, yep.
They stay here, and the young lad, he races, and they race out of here.
Chris,
They have
right?
the race car in the shop here.
No kidding.
So, it's just it's old home week for me. I enjoy Dirt Week. I work it. My wife works it.
Yeah, you said she does apparel, so you guys get to both hang out up here and
Well,
see all your old friends, right?
She does apparel, and I was doing apparel, and I don't know if were you at Super Dirt Week last year? Of
Yes,
course.
yes.
There's a macaroni and cheese truck behind the back grandstand.
Oh, that's you guys.
That was me.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
So right there with Garofalo's and all of them, right?
Another friend out of Rochester that we met when we were working for ASI at Harborfest.
Nice.
And we struck up a great friendship. And
I'll
when
get
he
some
does
mac and cheese from you next year.
yeah, he
and
does
try
he
that
does
out.
events around here. We work for him.
And we mentioned Garofalo's. We're going to thank them. They are one of our sponsors. They help take care of us on our trips up here. So when you guys come up to Oswego, obviously, out on West on Division Street, check them out. Homemade
got it.
sausage, subs. We had some subs there tonight. Oh, they're so good. So and of course, we're going to do a part 2 here where we're going to go to Randy specifically and talk about Oswego.
Yep.
What got you out of dirt?
The expense. When we were running it back then, there was still drag rubber. We even had a parts business to try and make things cheaper. We were wholesaling from Pete. Mm-hmm. We had Rapid Valley, Circle Track, something like that, and we had a parts bus and anything to try and get some more money towards the car because father's business was doing good, but it was pulling a lot of money out of it, and it just got so expensive. You're putting tires on the car every night.
Oh, really? You'd run through right rear every night?
Oh yeah, we were running 24/17. It's a big
I
drag
remember
rubber.
those old, the McMods, they used to call them, I think,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
We're
and
12 inches of stagger and something like
oh yeah,
that, right?
yeah, oh yeah, 12, 13 inch stagger Cornwall. But to compete with some of the guys like Marcel, these guys had some money in their motors.
Yeah.
And we had Ovid Doral. He was building our motors, and we went through like 12 320 small blocks in a year.
Gee.
And when you're running for $800 to win, it's tough.
Which was good money then, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Compared to...
If you win.
Yeah. Oh, it dropped off pretty quickly, did it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. And did you ever come and do Super Dirt Week at all back then when it was at the mile?
Oh yeah, I did the mile every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we went down and did our best. We qualified, every year for the small block, and we went down. One fall, we went down just to watch the races, and we said, well, if we're going to go down and watch it, let's just take the car,
sure.
see if we can qualify. It was a big block race, and we missed it by one spot in our Saturday night car, but we still went up in the grandstand to watch the race, so it was fun.
Yeah, and we got just a little over a minute left at this point. Was it a little wilder then than it was in the 90s, early 2000s at Syracuse? Because I heard some stories about the 80s. Or was it very similar, just one big party?
Yeah, one big party. That I really wasn't. I was quite young. I wasn't really into the party scene that much.
That's right, because you were a serious racer, building your own stuff and learning that end of things.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
All right. In part 2, like I said, we're going to talk about when he first came to Oswego, how he did there when he was learning a whole new deal. But Randy, I appreciate you getting hold of me today. It was nice to see you again.
Good seeing you, man.
Remember to make sure to subscribe, guys. Turn on the notifications, all that cool stuff. And if you got a suggestion, put it in the comments, and we'll have more stuff coming up for you. Look for part 2, where we'll talk about Randy at Oswego Speedway.